What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing well out there. Welcome back to episode 3 of our summer.
Episode 3.
Oh my goodness, that threw me off. Of our Northeast Equipping Podcast. We are in our controversial Christianity series, and hopefully you didn't miss Sunday because we're going to continue the conversation talking about youth sports, and just Christian formation and how all these things are kind of converging together in our world. And so if you have a kid that's doing any type of sport, really, I would say any type of activity of high achieving, you will run into just this emerging culture where the age of seriousness is like creeping down to earlier and earlier. So we talked about sports this weekend, but I think this could apply to theater and dance and so many other areas where I talk to parents and it feels like, man, this feels different than when I participated as a kid.
Yep.
And you're kind of stuck in this battle of, I want to be a great parent. I want to give my kids these opportunities. I kind of enjoy this too, but a part of me feels like something is wrong. And so what do I do? So welcome to this episode. We're going to jump in. But Becca, I heard you have some ways to get us started correctly.
I have some fun.
All right. Got to start with
we
the
always
fun.
begin with fun.
All right.
My dad used to tell me, like, you're playing sports and you're having fun. And then at one point it switched. And he was like, now you're playing for real.
Yeah. Now.
But we're going to start with fun. Okay, I have 2 questions.
Okay.
All right. First question, what is your favorite sports movie?
Oh, wow.
It's tough. Okay. I know mine. My favorite sports movie is The Little Giants.
Classic.
I love The Little Giants. I always felt like it was better than Little Rascals, but it never got the same amount of love.
It did not.
But I loved the Icebox.
Icebox.
She
got hosed in that first tryout.
She did. She should have been the captain of the team.
Mm-hmm.
I did still kind of want to play for the Cowboys after. I was like,
Their uniforms were elite.
The uniforms were fire. And Spike, Spike was a great middle linebacker. So,
he just needed some guidance.
He really did. He had one of
great.
those travel ball dads that just needs to be sidelined.
Yeah.
But it was that's my favorite sports movie, Little Giants.
All right, Tyler.
So it just kind of depends on what kind of mood I'm in. But since we're in the middle of the World Cup right now, and I'm feeling like USA might have a sliver of a chance of actually fighting their way through the bracket play to the World Cup title, I'm feeling some Miracle on Ice right now.
Okay.
That came up in our team meeting. I feel like my default is going to be Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Like that end scene of that movie when his dad comes out, I lose
catch
it.
With him?
I lose it every time. But then also, remember the Titans.
Yeah, remember the Titans.
Oh, man.
I
that's
mean,
great. It's a great one.
I remember watching that as a kid. It's like one of those movies they play in school.
Yeah.
Because it's like, historical and
Feel
blah,
good.
blah. And I'm just
how you
like,
feel?
oh, this is so good. Yeah, see? Okay.
Left side! Strong side!
Okay. So
Come on, Bertier.
there's
Hey, listen.
those are my
boy
2.
Bertier,
Those are
man.
my
Should've
2
went to the pros.
go-to sports movies. All right. And then my second icebreaker question today,
All right.
because I get to do this, so I chose to have 2. What sport would Jesus play?
Baseball.
I knew you were going to say that. Did you think that question through, or is that just your
John
default answer?
chapter 1, verse 1. In the
Beginning.
big inning was the Word. And the Word was with God.
I
and
do
the Word
have
was
my
God.
Bible here.
In the big inning.
Okay.
Hey, listen.
Okay.
It's hard
Okay,
to. I think
Tyler?
Jesus would do like X Games, be extreme sports.
Yeah.
Walks on water,
Mm-hmm.
ascends to the sky.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it would be
He
hard
ain't
to
losing.
beat. It'd be hard to
Yeah.
beat. So the X Games, he'd be better than Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah, but would he
Interesting.
feel comfortable dominating the competition? He's so humble.
Well, I think he'd be honest.
Yeah, Jesus. I could see Jesus being like Tim Duncan, like
Quiet killer.
Quiet killer. Like, listen, I'm only saying what's necessary, but I'm also not gonna back down from winning. Like,
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I could see him being like a Tim Duncan type.
Then
Yeah.
later in life, I'm going to take care of my coach.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
see how
see?
he's got this relationship with Greg Popovich.
Yeah.
His health is declining, and now Duncan's like with him everywhere.
Yep.
I love that about Timmy D.
Yep.
Wake Forest.
I have this
Hey, Wake
sense
Forest. Let's go,
There it
Deeks.
is.
that there's going to be some moments in this podcast where I just don't know what's going on because I'm not sportsy.
That's
You're not sportsy?
Are you? Is that
I get
sarcasm?
sportsy vibes from. So get sportsy vibes from you.
Listen.
Okay, it's sarcasm.
I am
it's
athletic.
Sarcasm. Oh,
right?
listen.
Terrence
I
has seen.
can't verify
You were
this.
there when we had the Super Bowl party.
I can't verify.
And I
I'm just
made
joking.
it
I'm just
through the
joking. Yeah, you
football
did, you
throwing
did, you
round.
did, you
I
did.
make it.
I
It's too much.
I give it
And
to you.
there's a whole, we can get into that some other time. But I think Jesus would have played soccer
Okay.
why?
because it's just like,
Because there's a tie
no.
and everybody can be happy. Participation trophies.
No.
Is that your Jesus?
I
the
think it's
participation
like
trophy Jesus?
when I picture, there's like sports that I picture people just like playing in all of time and history. And like soccer is one of those. Like you pick any sort of round shaped object and like kids are going to kick it around. Like it's a very natural thing. So I feel like he would have just done that. And that's something you can kind of play as you move.
Yeah.
It's portable.
It goes across cultures.
Yeah.
The World Cup. God
Yeah.
so loved the world.
God so loved the world
I mean,
that
There's a World Baseball Classic.
we scored a
not as
goal.
big though. Jesus does it big.
It's true. It's not as big.
Okay.
But man, there were some great vibes in the
It
World
really
Baseball
was.
Classic this year.
Although it was just really hard for me that so many people were playing for other countries that they're not native of. Same thing in the World
Same
Cup.
thing in World Cup.
And I'm like,
It bothers me.
But the way it's brought the world together.
It has brought the
It's
world.
healing
Okay.
the nations.
It's healing something. All right, let's get into it.
All right.
All right. Let me get you guys. Okay, that wasn't 30 minutes in.
Okay.
It was
We did
only
good.
7. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So, as always, when we kind of start these things, I love to kind of break it down a little bit more. Like, why are youth sports, specifically youth sports, controversial? Like, why is this something that we chose as a topic? What makes it controversial as a Christian? So we're speaking to Christians. We want to speak to the culture at large.
Right.
But specifically for someone committed to following Jesus, why is this a topic that we chose for this series?
Well, I felt particularly passionate about it because, one, our unique church has a lot of parents with kids in the home. And I shared some of the statistics this week based on some of the most recent data that's like validated and produced by the U.S. government. Over 50% of kids, I think it was 6 to 17 years old.
Yep. 55.4%.
Yeah, so they're playing youth sports competitively, and so that means that there's probably a really big number of folks in our church who are in it. So just that made me want to talk about it. What makes it controversial, though, is, and I alluded to it this weekend, I think the values that youth sports culture today disciples you in or forms you in are actually counter to the moral formation and the mission that we are called to as Christians. And just pointing that out makes people uncomfortable because, and those are usually the people that have their priority structures wrong.
Right.
But then when you get into it, it's pretty hard to deny. But that's what makes it controversial, is that the values of youth sports culture are I would say almost opposite. No, they're not opposite, but they are opposed to the values of
That is opposite.
of followers Jesus. I wouldn't say it's opposite. Opposed.
I mean, you can
Being
be
on the
you can be
opposite
of the
side or
same and
something?
opposed. It don't mean opposite. You know, brothers fight each other.
Okay,
They're
okay.
not opposite. You know.
So, a question just to kind of get into your brains here. And before you had kids and had kids participate, because I know you both have kids who are very into sports at a certain level, like a pretty high level, would you have thought that youth sports was controversial before you got into it at the level that you did? Or is this something that you've kind of observed and concluded?
Yeah. So for me, I think this is why it's controversial, because I think the culture has changed. And so what a lot of us remember about youth sports, that is still what shapes sometimes how we view it as we engage with our kids. And it can
True.
cause us to overlook some of the things that are obvious. You know, there's so many people, you know, a lot of my friend group would say, hey, sports in some way changed my life.
Yeah.
Right.
I would say that.
It helped me find structure. It helped me find friends that would stick. It helped me have other men and leaders in my life who would speak life into me. It kept me out of trouble. Like that is the story. I always tell people like sports was the beginning of my journey to finding Christ. Like I played the sport. I found belonging. Had a coach tell me, "Hey, you think you could? I probably could see you playing college." And that was the first person that ever tell me I could go to college. Was a coach saying, "I think you could play football in college."
Yeah.
It was like, "Oh, really?" So all of a sudden, now my outlook on life is completely different. So now I'm aiming to go to college. Up until that time in 11th grade, I hadn't even thought about going to college. But all of a sudden, now I'm like, maybe I can go to college.
Yeah.
Go to college. I have a football coach who's a believer. And he invites a football chaplain to be a part of our football program. That football chaplain chases me down every day, shares his faith with me, leads me to faith, invites me to be discipled. And here I am now, like as a pastor. Like it all began with just a baseball coach actually saying, "Hey, I don't think you're going to make the high school team. Appreciate your passion for the game. But could I take you to football practice? And I think you would enjoy football." And I had never played football up until that point in 8th grade. And he took me to practice and it changed my life. So I think a lot of people have stories like that. And so they like, when you engage it with your kids, you're like, I want my kids to have that and my expertise. And then all of a sudden now this is going to be a great opportunity for my kid.
Yeah.
And so, I would say a lot of people, when you put your kids in, you do not see it. And rightfully so, at the early ages, it's not that way. At the early ages, it still very much is a family-friendly environment. And so you just have to watch it and be careful because what I found about myself is more than like the sports culture being like tricky and sneaky, it was actually my own heart that was sometimes tricky and sneaky because I have motivations sometimes that try to rise up and they can overpower the desire and the passion and the will of my child sometimes because I see all their potential and I see the opportunity, right? So there's a balance that I think we all are wrestling through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that one value that has never changed, that I think is opposed to the gospel, that like I absorbed from sports, you did too, I guarantee it when you were young, is the identity of the idea of performance as identity.
Right.
That's always been the case. You get such affirmation from performing well. It's so sad. You feel like you're letting everybody down when you don't perform well. Then as you get to higher and higher levels, there are actual things tied to it, like a scholarship or whatever it may be, a career. And so I remember in 2005 when I played the last baseball game of my life. It was at the College World Series. We got beat in the Final Four. And I walked to the bus and put my bag underneath the bus and sat down in the charter, and it just like hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, I will never play another baseball game. This is all I have done for the last 18 years of my life is do this and other sports. I have devoted all of my being to this, almost. Like, what now? Now, fortunately, there had been a transformation that had happened in my heart over the last few years of like finding ministry and finding purpose in that. And I was like, well, I'll go to that. It's still very sad because I love baseball. And this is just another side story, I almost took a coaching job that summer to just continue to coach baseball instead of going into ministry. Man, that was one of the hardest decisions of my life, to stay on the path to ministry rather than coaching at my alma mater. But that has always been something that I think has been tempting, but some of the things that Terrence is speaking to that has emerged in the last 20 years are things like the profit engine that's associated now with youth sports culture.
Yep.
Like they have figured out a way to monetize it in ways that take a lot of money from families that can afford it and then make it inaccessible to families who can't afford it.
Right.
There is the overwhelming time commitment. There used to be it used to be normal to play 3 or 4 sports growing up. Now there has to be a specialization if you want to keep up.
Right.
And then the idea that elite performance and winning is glorified at younger and younger and younger ages. I've never seen anything like it. Like, they have multi-tiered divisions in every sport of like, and your team's trying to climb from, like in baseball, it's single A to double A to triple A to majors. Right. And then they're like ranking kids in the 4th grade, about
That's
how good
so
they are in the
crazy.
class. It's absolutely wild. But it's so easy to get sucked into because
Yeah.
you're like, all of a sudden, you're like, well, I mean, I want to be a AAA team or adult.
Right.
I want to be a majors team. You know,
Yeah.
well, my kid's better than that kid, and he's ranked 10th. You know, like, well, you know, and you start thinking those thoughts, and so
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like this kind of perfectly leads into the next question is why and how do you think we've arrived at this place? Why have we pushed, the elitism, the stress and the pressure to perform at a top level? Why has it made its way down further to younger ages? Is this culture? Like, is it the culture of the country we live in of like capitalism? And how can we monetize things? How can we rank people? Like, is this a social thing of we're not just all coming and gathering around sports? We're going to know and observe like you're good, you're not as good. And so you're actually the one that I want to spend time with. Like, why do you think, is there something in the human heart that is longing for this? I think about when you were just talking about like the ranking and things like that. I was thinking about how so often in our Christian life, we have to be careful that we don't step into like a legalism or a fundamentalism because it's so easy to sit with a list of rules and be like, well, I did all these things and so I'm a good Christian. And it's like, actually, you didn't even talk with God today. You didn't even commune with God. So all that to say, what do you think it is? Why have we arrived at this point? Because it is crazy. It's crazy.
we are good. Humans are good at making anything fun, beautiful, or pleasurable into an idol.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Yeah.
it boils down to.
Yeah.
And you can just apply that across the board to anything.
Yeah.
So you could take sport out of the sermon I preached this weekend
Yeah.
and put it
totally.
on just about anything fun, beautiful, or pleasurable. And you'll find that we are very, very good.
Mhm.
And there's somebody out there that has
Yeah.
has turned it into an idol or
Yeah.
turned it into a system and a set of decisions that put it on the throne of our hearts rather than Jesus. I mean, it's because sports are fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they're fun. Competing is
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Like setting goals with your teammates and achieving something bigger than yourself. Like all that's fun. Like the problem is that there's so much good in sport,
Yeah.
and there's so much good in it that that fun and delight. And this is kind of what I was getting at the end of the message this weekend. The fun and delight can suck us in,
Mm-hmm.
and if we don't bring our different set of values with
Yeah.
us when we get sucked into it, and those aren't concrete inside of us, then we will be evangelized by those values that I just said from youth sports culture, rather than bringing our own values
Yeah.
as followers of Jesus into youth sports culture and being light in a dark place. You know,
Yeah.
being peace in a place of anxiety, being being a people of unconditional love and solid identity in a place where everybody's scrambling for an identity based on rankings and scores and stuff. So, but that's why I think we're just really good at making things into idols, and sports is fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to go that same route. I think if you just go to the word, right, this is the same reason why Jesus talks about when you're invited to a dinner, don't take the best seat, but like go take
Yeah.
the worst seat and like
Yeah.
be invited, right?
Yeah.
I think there's just something inside of every human heart to want to be valuable,
Right.
right? To want to mean something in the world, and sport has just become another way of doing that. Like it's always kind of existed in some form or fashion where
Yeah.
parents live through their kids, but you
Right.
kind of saw it, like if you watch Friday Night Lights or something, your kid's a high school quarterback. And it's like, hey man, you got to get us out of the trailer park, or whatever, right? Like, and that
Yeah.
weight is on the kid's shoulder. But now they're like parents who can like relive rec league, like I never got picked. You're
Yeah.
gonna be like, and it's funny to say that, but that literally does kind of rise up in us, and we
Right.
don't even realize it.
Mhm.
And so I think because things could be monetized, there was somebody standing on the side one day and was like, I wonder if I charge $5 for this, how many people will come? And they realize, people will still come.
Yep.
So let me charge 10. Okay, let me charge 15. Let me charge 20. And people keep coming because the demand is there. And so I think it's the emergence of technology that created this, because now you can see more, know more,
Yeah.
right? One of the things that blows my mind about like all of this with youth sports and stuff is like sport is bigger than it's ever been in youth, but like the love of sport is smaller than it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Say more about
Like,
what you mean.
so
by
on
that.
my son's like baseball team, if I go up and talk to them about who their favorite player is, they don't know anybody.
Okay.
Because
what
they
you're
don't
saying.
love just watching baseball.
Yeah.
They don't
Let's go in a
imitate
different direction with that. Go ahead.
their
finish.
best players in the yard anymore. They don't
Yeah.
feel in love with the game as much. It's an avenue to something else. And I just remember whenever I played baseball, I got in trouble all the time because I had a different batting stance every game. Because
Gary Sheffield.
Because you're like trying them out.
I'm trying them out. I'm imitating. And it's like, what are you doing? I'm like, this is Chuck Knobloch. I want to try. I want to try this today.
Craig Counsell.
Craig Counsell, like get up high. And, you got to get up there, right? And coach is like, get him out. And so, but then I talked to some of the kids. I'm like, who's your favorite player? And they may know Shohei Ohtani because he's the big star.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's like Aaron Judge. Like they know like 2 or 3 people.
Yeah.
Even if you watch Little League World Series, they're like, who's your favorite baseball player? Babe Ruth. I'm like, come on, bro.
Babe Ruth.
Come on, bro.
Oh, we forgot about Sandlot.
Yeah,
earlier.
Sandlot's awesome.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
good one. It's not my
And so
favorite.
I think the love of the game is smaller, and so therefore sport is a means to an end. I was at football practice yesterday, and it's middle school football. I'm helping coach, and we were trying to motivate the kids. So all the coaches are going around,
Yeah.
sharing things, and it came up while we were sharing to these middle schoolers that there's a kid who just got $5 million. He's going to be a junior in high school this year. And he got $5 million in an NIL deal to go to a school. He hadn't even graduated high school yet.
What?
And like that was like, so if you want $5 million, stop slacking on your run out here. And so even that vision is creeping in at an earlier age
Yeah.
where like
Money.
my middle school reps matter to my economic status. If I don't figure it out in middle school, then I'm like, the message is then I'm just not going to have anything to aim for. And it's like, what are we doing? It's a truth and what are we doing? Because a kid in middle school should never be thinking about,
No.
could I work hard enough to get $5 million by the time I'm 16-year-old in high school because somebody wants me to come play football? It's immediately robbing them of the joy of just saying, I'm on
Yeah.
a team, I'm representing my school, their name is on the front, I'm out here with my friends, and this is fun. And so that breaks my heart a little bit, just that.
Yeah, I was going to go the route of like, so I don't know if your algorithms are dialed in on this, but
We know mine are.
probably like once a week, I will get spammed, and it's different ones with sports psychology programs for your kid who's crumbling under the pressure.
Oh, you
Or
mentioned this.
who's burning out, or who has lost the love for the game, and it'll have like a little endorsement, like my kid went through this program and they hit 750 this week at their tournament with 1 home run.
Yep.
And I'm just like, really? Because when I was a kid, sports psychology was emerging, but it was kind of like like out there, like what's sports psychology? Are they like hypnotizing these athletes or something weird?
Right.
Are they on the couch like this? But you just didn't know. You just knew that the highest level of athletes did it, which I would probably recommend it to the highest
they
level
need
of
it.
athletes.
Yeah.
Like millions of eyes, millions of dollars are wrapped up in it. But your 10-year-old, your 11-year-old's got to do sports psych programs. I'm
Right.
just like, ooh,
You need to put the parents in there.
Like
we got this out of whack.
What if we could, create it that a 10-year-old needs a sports
Has
psych?
anxiety, like
Right.
paralyzing anxiety over this.
Right.
Guys.
Yeah.
My kids aren't doing sports right now. They've chosen different activities. I'm feeling good about it.
Hey, it's coming for them. Listen, it's coming for them in those fields.
We've tested it out. Yeah.
You just gotta.
I'll make a side note about this. We're talking about it. So my oldest played a few seasons of soccer,
Mhm.
and he
Coach Becca?
loved. I did coach. See, Tyler, you're making fun of me
Good for you. Did you have
for
a whistle?
athletics. Did
Did
you
you
know
do a
I
whistle?
played soccer in high school?
No.
See,
You gotta talk about them.
how dare you talk about me like that without knowing? I quit though halfway through so I
Quitter.
could get a job,
Need sports psychology.
so I could get a car.
Mm.
Okay.
Your priorities are out of whack.
My priorities
Let your
were
teammates down for a
right
car.
because they didn't really need me, because I didn't care as much as they did, which is
Understood.
fine. I loved it, but okay. So my son, he loved being with his like being with people and
Yep.
running around and playing. And anytime I would take a picture when he's on the field, he had the biggest smile on his face. But like he wasn't wanting to kick the ball around or whatever. And he is now doing electric guitar, which he loves. And he's like practicing on his own free will, which is great. And then my youngest, we kind of threw out some different options for activities, and he chose dance instead of like a sport to start off with. And I was like, okay. And my husband and I, after the first week of both of them being involved in these activities, my husband especially, he's more of an introvert. So in social situations, he is very just observant of everything that's going on. And so we were kind of talking, debriefing after the first week. And he said, you know what I love about these activities our boys are in now? The parents. Like, nobody is trying to live their life through their kids, their 5, 6, 7-year-olds, like rec sports team. Like, nobody is like to their kid when they come off the field. Like, the whole demeanor of everyone is just different.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that with those things, as they get older and things become more competitive of like, you know, in dance, if you go on, there's certain roles that it's like you got to audition for and stuff like that. And then with music, it's just that's kind of whatever.
I mean,
but
Yeah.
I was like, that is such an interesting observation of just how I felt sometimes on the sideline at my little kids' soccer games, rec league. Like, these kids don't even know. Some of them is their first season. And just the difference between the parents. So now that we've kind of gone on this tangent a little bit, what do you think? So we're talking about kids, and I think, Tyler, you gave some great practical examples of how parents can engage with their kids. You were talking about like the pregame, the postgame, making sure you are engaged with church on Sundays.
Yeah.
But what about the parents and their inner life? And what are some things, because you just talked about this earlier, Terrence, about like, hey, this really is actually revealing something about me. So what are some things you would say to parents, and especially those who are Christians in the middle of all this?
I think we are such a product of our surroundings and the people who we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
And so most of the parents that I know involved in high-level youth sports are really good people. A lot of them go to our church.
Right.
They and they heard the sermon, or they would hear us talk like this, and they'd be like, yeah, that's right. That's what I want for my kid. Right? But if you put yourself in the wrong environment, say you join a team with a culture and a coaching staff that leans more towards winning rather than development, or leans more towards performance pressure rather than moral formation, then you'll quickly become that way. Like you can tell, you can go to a travel tournament and you can spend time around dugouts or watch certain teams play on the basketball court and really quickly just kind of get the feel of, okay, so this is the culture of that team. And for the record, like, I am very competitive. And so we want our teams to win and play well, and we go out and play to win. And like we have certain rules that we've established with our parents of like, hey, so for baseball, hey, the fall season is less competitive than the spring season. Will be more developmental. You know, Saturdays are less competitive than Sundays on the tournament because Saturdays are pool play, but Sundays are bracket play. You know, like so we're gonna build lineups and give opportunities accordingly. Or we might play more to win in the state tournament at the end of our spring season than we do on the random Wednesday night league in the middle of our fall season. And so when you kind of establish expectations like that, you know, I think parents lean into that and they understand what to work for.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you know, if you can bring together a group of people and say, look, we're going to play competitively and win and try to help your kids develop as much as possible, but that's not priority one. Like, here are the top priorities. I think you then set expectations for parents of like, okay, good. Well, then now I know how to act here and actually want an environment like that. I want people like that. And it can become a much more positive environment. So I always encourage parents, coaches and cultures over competition. Coaches and cultures over competition. The coach is going to be a keystone mentor into the life of your kid.
Yep.
Maybe for multiple seasons if you stay with this team. And then some team cultures have different priorities, and you need to interrogate that before you put your kid on a team. And if you ever get on a team where it's like, this team's not letting me prioritize church, they're not letting me prioritize other sports. My kid lost playing time because we chose to go to a family dinner on this night rather than practice. All right, well, that may be the case when they're a senior in high school on the varsity team, but when they're 11, get on a different team.
Right.
There are teams out there that value the things that you value, but still want to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my first piece of advice: is get yourself surrounded by the right people.
Yeah.
Parents.
That's good. I think one of the things that has been like a constant practice for my wife and I, and just something that I've tried to remind myself is like stop calculating the investment and just be there with your kid. I think that can create some of the pressure. There's like funny little videos and reels that come across Instagram where it's like watching my nail money go to waste, and it's a video of their kid like doing something ridiculous on the soccer field or something. It's like
cartwheels,
and it's funny. It's like I could have invested that money somewhere else. And I think it's funny, but in some sense you can feel that. It's like, man, I'm driving across town. I'm like ripping and running 4 to 5 days a week. I'm putting my life on hold. I'm every time I turn around, there's another $100 that I need to pay, and that can start mounting up on you, and then you're out there and you're missing the moment of like, you're kind of resenting it and missing the moment of like, I'm watching my kid do something that they love.
Yeah.
And now you're like, hey, I better get a return on my investment. Like I need you to step up. Like, don't waste our time, because I paid $300 for that bat. So you better hit a home run with it since you wanted it so bad. It's $300. You're like,
because that works.
This tournament cost me $60 to get into, and I already paid $2,000 for you to be on this team.
Yeah.
So like, don't come out here talking about your stomach hurts. Get out there and go play, right? And like,
and then they vomit
right
in the middle
and then you're
of
like,
the
I'm
field.
sorry, I kind of feel bad.
Hydrate, get back out there.
But that can kind of rise up because it's like a precious resource in my life I'm investing, and I really want to see fruit. I really want to see results from this investment. So I think just parents, if you make the investment in your kid, just make the investment.
Yeah.
And focus on being there, being the parent, enjoying the moment. One of the things I say to my kids to motivate them to do things, but also to me and my wife when we're talking, it's like, hey, this is the only time you're actually going to be a kid where you can just get to do stuff like this. So just do it.
Yeah.
So rather than me saying, you better get out of this, like, hey man, like you're 12 one time. Like when you get my age, ain't nobody gonna ask you to join their team to come play baseball, bro. So
it sounds like you and Tyler might need to play baseball together.
No,
I like my Achilles intact.
I broke my ankle last time I played softball.
Oh my gosh, you guys.
And so
falling apart over
it's
here.
not good.
Okay.
But it's just like, hey, like enjoy this. And so even with me and my wife, we get, we've had some seasons where the weight of not knowing actually what we committed to hit us in the face.
Yeah.
And then it was like, and the environment was producing in us just a character that we didn't know existed in us.
Yeah.
Around sport, right?
Yeah.
And so we had to take a step back. One of the things that we decided to do this year, because we saw this in our son, we have a son who's pretty decent at baseball. He loves the game. And there was a lot of like potential in him. And so every place he went, all these coaches like, hey, like he could be really good. Hey, he could be really good. This kid right here. And so as a parent, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can play. Yeah, he can play. Yeah, he can play. And we looked up, and it had been 2 years of nonstop baseball. And we said, when did we sign up for 2 years of baseball?
Right.
Well, 2 years ago in the spring when we signed up for rec league. And he made All-Stars, then he got invited to travel, and then fall ball. And we didn't realize that we were saying yes. We just thought he's with his friends, he's having fun.
Yeah.
We asked him one time, he says, yes, okay, great, you can play. And then we got to the end of the second year, and he had a panic attack on the field.
I remember you telling me this.
He hit the game-winning hit and got to first base and just broke down. And we were like, this is the happiest moment of your life, right? You literally hit a base-winning hit in the district tournament. What are you doing?
Oh, man.
And he was like, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
He just cried. And I tell people that was in July of that year. his baseball bag stayed in the back of my car until February the next year.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't touch it. He didn't want to touch it. I was like, you want to throw the baseball? No. He did not
Yeah.
want to do it.
Yeah.
And so this year we decided, hey, bud, all you're gonna do is just play Little League, and that's it. And we're just gonna take it easy. And you know what we see in him is like joy.
Mm.
And so the things that I'm out at the field measuring, like, okay, the competition is not good. Like, this is just he's just happy.
Yeah.
He's just like, I'm out here with my friends, I'm playing baseball.
Yeah.
And I feel good. And so I think for us, it's been a lesson of like learning how to just be present in the moment, be where your feet are, and just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So to the return on investment piece, because I think that's such a good thing. So it's
Yeah.
not a bad thing to think about. Like we would do that if we were given to charities.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
which charity is stewarding our money
Yeah.
well.
You want to
right?
evaluate
You
that.
do want to
Yeah.
evaluate the investment. But for me, it's like, okay, if you're investing in this, like let's say travel baseball, if you're investing in this so that your kid will hit home runs and get a scholarship someday, right? Then that is the wrong reason, because they're probably not going to get a scholarship based on the statistics. And even if they do, they're
Yeah.
definitely not going pro based on the statistics. And, you know, and then all of a sudden you're going to start resenting it when they don't hit a home run with that $300 bat and so on and so forth, right? But if you are investing in the moral formation of your kid, if you're investing in family mission, right? If you're investing in the joy that you're trying to create, healthy environment you're trying to create for them, then I would say, like, can you put a price tag on that? Can you put a
Right.
price tag on your kid's soul?
Right.
Can you put a price tag on their salvation, like crossing the conversion line, but also the process of being saved and sanctified? And and so all of a sudden when you start looking at, well, sport is for this particular kid I have, sport is a powerful tool for discipleship.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't mind now investing hundreds of dollars in that, because that's how I see it, right? So what is the investment in? When you get drawn into the values of youth sports culture and you start investing in, let's say, performance, for example, we can get sideways, right? But when we can, in our better, more sober moments where the Spirit is guiding us, we're like, actually, I'm investing in these good things, you know, character. I'm investing in adult readiness. I'm investing in, you know, their ability to interact with others and be self-sacrificial and work for it. Like that. That's when I'm like, okay, now we're investing in the right things, and I don't mind spending my money on that, right?
Yeah. I also think about when you were talking about that return on investment of like, well, I've put this much money into this, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're the parent and you said yes. Like you offered this opportunity to your kid. Like I know parents who will say, nope, everybody's just doing one thing because there's too many of us and it costs too much. And it's like, okay, you have then said yes to this. And so I think about in all of these things, especially as I've been listening to you all share about like your own experience in sports, and then what it's like to parent kids in that, of like what is not their weight to bear in all of this, of like there's things that we carry as adults, as parents. We have the vision to see, you know, sometimes it is what's possible, and we're speaking life into our kids and we're casting vision for them of like, these are the possibilities and these are the things that I see in you. But also the weight of some of that responsibility, like you were saying, like you only get to be 12 once. Like just have fun. Just enjoy this. Of like, you don't have to be thinking right now about college. You're not there yet. Let me think about that in the ways that I can provide opportunities for you, but you don't need to bear that. And so I think about how like sometimes there's like sometimes an adultification of kids. And I think that's ultimately like kind of what we have been talking about here with youth sports of like, and I just think
It's the
we were kind of,
professionalization of childhood.
yeah. And
it
it's
happens in more than just
crazy.
sports.
And I think we were talking about a little bit before we started recording of just like a lot of these kids that we're talking about, like they haven't even hit puberty yet. And I also think about like, what is this doing to your body? Like if it's, you know, we know that there's some things that can be harmful, like intense weightlifting and stuff where it's like, you haven't even gone through puberty. Like your bones are still growing, all of these things. And yeah, just there's things that are ours to carry as parents and are our responsibility. And there's things that's not theirs. And we have to like keep those things rightly ordered. And I think part of that is as Christians, we continually humble ourselves before Christ and we bring our desires and make sure, are they aligning with His? Are we making sure we don't have any idols? Like, I love that you use that word, Tyler, because so easily things can become idols. You were so right in that, of just like, if we are not crucifying the flesh, like, it will come up. It'll come up. That's just what happens. If we're not crucifying the flesh, if we're not listening to the Spirit, everything else will be loud around us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As we kind of wrap up here, what are some things that you would say to any family that's involved? You know, every family, you kind of said this at the beginning of like, families are going to have their kids be involved in activities.
Mm-hmm.
Like sports, we've talked a lot about. So sports and beyond. What are some things, if you could tell them one thing about the way they approach an activity with their kid and what it would look like to encourage them in that, like they're enjoying it. Let's put the qualifier there. They're enjoying it. Maybe they're really good. How can they faithfully steward the gift and the skill that they see in their child's life without crushing them?
I want to intentionally encourage parents, right? Or I want to expressly encourage parents to intentionally have conversations about faith and sports with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your kids are not going to absorb the Jesus connection accidentally or by themselves.
That's so true.
If you have a coach that will do that, the great. If there are other parents of other kids on the team, great. Those are great to have around you. But I mean, and this comes from just some of the parenting research that I'm doing on my own with Wheaton and my doctorate.
Yeah.
The number one most powerful practice to pass your faith along to the next generation has been proven to be parents having daily, parent-led, kid-initiated conversations about faith and life with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think the pregame, post-game talk is so important. That's why I think sitting down with your kids and being like, hey, here's why we're in sports is important.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think like just evaluating like, hey, should we go to church this weekend? Like, what do you think? Like, we're going to be in Indianapolis. Well, let's try to find a church service, or what do you think about us planning a church service together for the hotel room? Like, let's talk about it. And what you'll find is that your kids will actually make decisions that make you really proud. You put the ball in their court and say, what do you think about this?
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll make you really proud. And then now you've turned sports into what you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
A tool for discipleship, a tool for character formation, a tool for family mission. And so I just want to really encourage parents not to just assume that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, Tyler, I'm not a preacher. I don't talk about these things good. You don't have to. Your kid doesn't expect you to be a preacher.
No, yeah.
But it will leave an imprint on them whenever you make sports about God.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. And one of my favorite things to do is to have Palmer sit down or Larkin and Olsen sit down and watch videos of some of their favorite athletes or teams talk about how God and sport is kind of integrated into their life, because I want them to hear those conversations. I want them to have those thoughts. I want them to ask those questions. So this is so important, parents.
Yeah.
Have intentional conversations about sports and Jesus with your kids.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like, I've got 5 questions, but just start the conversations.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't happen on accident.
It does not.
That's so good.
That's good. I'm sitting here thinking. I'm thinking about what is it? I forget what proverb it is, but like raise your child up in the way that they should go. Like we
And
hear
when
that
they're old,
when they're old,
they
they
shall
want to depart from. A lot of times we hear that verse, and there's been a lot of interpretation about what that means. Does that mean raising them up in the faith, or does that mean raising them up in their gifting? I think both. And so ask yourself this question: like, as I parent my child, am I raising them up in both? Do I see a gifting in them? But also, do I see the potential of like gospel impact in them? And am I trying to cultivate both in their life? Regardless of how people feel about him, Andy Stanley has a lot of like great concepts, especially when it comes to parenting. And one of the things that he said that stuck with me years ago was you need to parent with the future in mind. And what he's talking about is you should parent in such a way that your kids want to come home one day. And that stuck with me. And so to the one person listening to this that your kid might actually go pro when they get when they get
Yeah.
there, will they be happy that you're there with them?
Yeah.
Like, will you be in the green room with them? Will they be celebrating that achievement with you based on how you're showing up in their life? I think that's the big question. And so, never forsake our first calling to make a dream come true, right? We have a calling to raise our kids up to know the Lord as we have come to know the Lord. And we can't pass it off to anybody else, right? That's something that we're called to do. So I'm with Tyler. Man, let's be parents who truly take our faith seriously and take the faith of our children seriously.
Yeah.
Don't let sport take your kid's childhood from you
Yeah.
because it can happen. So
Yeah.
enjoy the moments.
Yeah.
Point them to Jesus.
Would you say that someone would be taking sports seriously if they wore their M frames to a podcast on it?
I was going to say we have to comment for those who aren't watching. We have to comment
Well,
on
he
Tyler's
He is a
sunglasses.
mega church pastor, so
Aura Max.
he's wearing glasses in the podcast.
That was last week.
It's been kind of hard for me
Terrence
because I can't see your
conveniently
eyes.
skipped last week. Uh-huh.
Okay, I want to end with this. What I wrote down that Tyler said on Sunday because I thought it was good, and I'm a note taker, or I'll forget
Okay.
everything. He said, one last thing about your kid's future in sports. Your kid is not going pro, but they will stand before God one day. And I was like, that's so good.
The actual quote.
Okay,
is
the actual
There's
quote.
a less than 1% chance that your kid will go pro, but there is a 100% chance that they will stand before God someday. In that moment, will they have something more to show them than plastic trophies or good swing mechanics?
That's good. It's
This guy preached 3 sermons this week, Thursday.
great
2 on
NCAA
Sunday. Did
NCAA
you say that
commercial
in the
right there.
Thursday night
Praise.
service? Because that's when I took my notes.
Did I say it on Thursday?
The 100%?
I think.
Yeah, I
probably-
think you did.
Maybe.
That sounds right. Well, I wrote it down
Wrongly.
in my.
That was good, though. You got
It
the
was-
spirit.
that-
Spirit of the law,
right.
letter of the law. You got the spirit of the law.
I got the spirit of the law. They will stand before God one day, 100% chance. And I think that if anybody hears anything, the TLDR is that keep the first thing first.
Mm.
Keep the first thing first. First thing is Jesus. Will always be Jesus. And when sports are done, when you tear your ACL, what did you say? Your Achilles, break your ankle, whatever you guys both did last time you played baseball. That's, there's going to be a day your body isn't going to be able to do that, but there will be a day that you see God face to face. And there will be a day that maybe we get to play sports with Jesus and we get to ask him
Who's the GOAT?
what his favorite sport is.
Hard work, God first. Hard work, God first.
Okay, we're wrapping it up here. Terrence,
Yeah.
would you say a prayer
I will.
for our sports families?
Yeah. Let's pray. God, we thank you for this conversation. I love that your kingdom can just step into every arena. And so, God, may we never take these types of conversations as conversations that are useless and pointless, but would they always be had? Would we always be willing to just look at even the things that we love with a critical eye and say, where's Jesus in this? And so, God, I just pray that you help all of us love our children well. God, where you have gifted our children uniquely. God, if you have a vision for their life through sport, God, would we see that? And God, would you provide a way? God, for the formation that you intend out of sport, God, would it happen? God, for the parents, I pray that you would just heal us in the areas that are unhealed, that show up sometime in our lives as we parent around sport. God, help us just to be a reflection of Christ in the work that you're doing in our life. And so, God, we love you. Pray a blessing over these kiddos. God, they are precious in your sight. They are an inheritance to us, God, a gift from you. And may we always see it that way. Pray all this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Play ball.
All right. Love you, church. See you next time.
Peace.